Hello everyone, today we have an outdoor series and then we're going to be focusing on stretching out our calves and our shins. So this is especially good if you've been on a run, maybe you wanted to come back to your Thanksgiving turkey food baby, so you went for a run, then this is going to be really good for you to relax your legs and especially your calves. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so to relax our calves, we're actually gonna get into some lunges. Okay, so I'm gonna be facing this way so you can see my lunges a little bit better. So we're first just gonna get to a lunge on the left side. So step your right foot backwards so you're in a lunge on your left side. Make sure that your hips are leveled, so make sure that you're pushing your right hip forward a little bit to be at the same level as your left hip. Okay, and then we're just gonna be here for a couple of breaths. Okay, so breathe in and out deeply through your nose, and to really breathe into opening your right hip and stretching out your right calf. Okay, so your left calf is going to be slightly engaged and still slightly sore, but then you can lift and lower your right heel like what I'm doing right now to give your right calf a little stretch. Perfect. All right, and then from here you're going to step up your right foot a little bit just so that your legs can form a triangle. Make sure that your hips are still leveled, and then you're going to fold forward into a standing split. Okay, so this is gonna give your left calf some stretching. Okay, so just breathe in and out deeply here for a couple of breaths. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna get into a low lunge on your right side. Okay, so lower your right knee onto the ground. And then you're going to feel a stretch in your right hip, but also we're going to get into some left calf stretches. Okay, so keep your right knee firmly on the ground and then shift your weight back. So shift your hips backwards so that your right leg is bent and your left leg is almost straight, and then flex your left foot so that you're feeling that stretch in your left calf. Okay, so just breathe in and out deeply and hold for a couple of breaths. Okay, and then you're gonna feel a pretty intense sensation in your left calf as you're stretching it out. Okay, and then if you want to bring more movement into this pose, so feel free to transition between a low lunge and a runner split. Okay, perfect. And then from here, if you can actually sit down with your right foot outside of your right hip. Okay, so this is gonna stretch your right thigh a little bit. Okay, so the front of your right thigh, and also bring a little bit of release to your right calf. Okay, and then you can also flex your left foot so that your left calf is also relaxing. Okay, but if this is really too much, you can definitely just bring your right foot to your inner left thigh, and then just reach for your left foot when your left foot is flexed. Okay, and this is going to stretch more your left calf and just bring some relief. Okay, and then if this is really too difficult, you can bend your left leg or maybe even use a strap to help you to get a little bit of leverage to pull your left foot back a little bit to stretch out your left calf a little bit more. Okay, but the more that you can straighten your left leg, the more you can flex your left foot, the more stretch you're going to feel in your left shin. Okay, perfect. And then from here, we're just going to keep the bend on your right knee and open your left foot up. And then we're in a gate pose. So it's gonna be a pretty subtle stretch on your left calf. Okay, but then we can get into a gate pose with a side bend and then a full gate pose if you want. And then from here, you can transition to the other side through a hero pose. So this is a more intense version that we see earlier. So by squeezing your calves, you're gonna get a little bit more of a calf relief on both sides, okay? So you can stay here if that suits you, but if this is really hurting you very much, you can definitely just skip this part, and then we're gonna get into the other side, okay? So we're gonna reverse our order. So first, by coming into a gate pose. Okay, so gate pose on your left side, gate pose with a side stretch first, and then a full gate pose. Okay, and then from here, you can sit down to get into your right leg stretch. Okay, so make sure that your right foot is flexed, and then maybe keep a tiny bend in your right knee to protect your right knee. But if you can straighten it, that's even better. Okay, so hold here for a couple of breaths. And then if this is really hurting you and you need a little bit more stretching, feel free to grab a strap, just put it at the bottom of your right foot, and then just pull it in so that you can engage into that calf stretch. Okay, from here, if you're interested and your left knee is not bothering you, you could come back into a half hero pose stretch again. But if this is hurting you too much, definitely feel free to skip this part completely. Okay, and then from here, we could come into a low lunge on the right side. Okay, so you're gonna feel a stretch in your left hip. Okay, we're gonna stay here just for a little to make sure that we can level our hips. Okay, and get used to that left knee being firmly on the ground. And then we're gonna shift our hips back into a runner split, okay? So flex your right foot so that you can really stretch out your right shin. Okay, and then if you want to bring some movements into this pose, feel free to do a low lunge to runner split transition a couple of times. And that's really gonna activate your right shin. Okay, perfect. And then from here, you're gonna lift your left toes. You're gonna use the strength of your upper body and your hands to help you to step into a standing runner split. All right, we're in a standing runner split. Make sure that your hips are leveled. All right, and then we're just gonna hold here for a couple of breaths to really get into that right calf stretch. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can step out your left foot a little bit, and then use the strength of your upper body to come into a high lunge. Okay, perfect. From a high lunge, you can step up, come into a chair pose, and just hold for a little bit before we come into a forward fold. Perfect. Shake your head no, nod your head yes to release any tension in your neck. And then you can keep some micro bend in your knees so that you can focus more on your calf stretch. Okay, from here, I want you to step out your feet so that they're wider than your hips. So I'm gonna actually go turn around and face you. So keep your feet wider than your hips. Now we're gonna come into a yogi squat. Okay, so hands together in front of your heart center, and then squat as much as possible down. Okay, if you need to support your body with your hands on the ground, that's perfectly fine, but then try to sway left to right a little bit. This is really going to activate the flexibility in your ankles, and then each time you're shifting your weight to one side, is really squeezing into that side of the calf. So it's going to give you a really good shin and calf relief. Okay, So the last thing we're gonna do is to open up. So keep your feet exactly where they are. We're just gonna open up to each side, okay? So we're first gonna open up to the right side. So bring your left hand down, open up your right arm to the sky. You're gonna feel a deeper stretch in your left calf and your left hip. Okay, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. So right hand down, open up to the left side, bring your left arm to the sky. Okay, and then both arms down, back to heart center. And then you're gonna parallel your feet, bring your hands firmly onto the ground. Help yourself to come to forward fold again. Okay, and we're gonna sway left to right a little bit. You can bring your hands to be wrapped around your elbow. Sway left to right a little bit to release any tension in your lower back. Okay, and then heel toe your feet so that they're hip width apart, and then one vertebra at a time. You're gonna stand up and feel the relief in your calves. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you're feeling a little bit better and more ready to walk around and get on with your day. I'll see you next time. Bye!